had looked a textbook launch for the world's most powerful rocket. But then, a little over 8 minutes into the test flight, with Starship 90 miles above the planet, it had a catastrophic failure.
Oh my gosh, again.
Destabilized by the engine cutout, the rocket started to tumble and then exploded, with fiery debris streaking across the sky. The second unsuccessful launch in as many months. This space scientist says the rocket is a long way from being ready to land astronauts on the moon as planned in just 2 years.
It's quite over-optimistic in many ways. It's not unusual to have consecutive failures, but I think having a reliable enough rocket to take humans into space on that timescale is really going to be a big ask, because you need to push that reliability very, very close to 100%. Here we're only up to 8 launches. That's not enough to really learn all the ins and outs of how this system is going to work, and perhaps more importantly, how it might fail.
Whoa! What the holy...
SpaceX had already made engineering upgrades to Starship after the failure of the test flight in January. It will pore over data from the latest explosion to work out what went wrong. But Elon Musk, its founder, has been busy with his new government efficiency role in the Trump administration. Has he taken his eye off the ball?
I'm sure Elon personally will be paying more attention and getting more involved. Again, this is not one person makes this work. This is a whole team. And the leadership of the team that I know is back at Hawthorne and SpaceX and at their test sites are some of the best engineers I know, and some of the most thorough engineers I know, and I am sure they will figure it out.
Whoa.
The United States wants to beat China back to the moon, but Musk's mega rocket still needs to overcome enormous engineering challenges to make that happen. Thomas Moore, Sky News in Leicester.
Alright, Shalom, giving all praises, honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachakodash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well, and Shalom to the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel, and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved on the Bava Kalab from the GMS UK London Forecasters Camp, back with another lesson to help edify those of which I spoke of. So as you can see, this is the second SpaceX rocket that has blown up in as many months, and in this video clip you saw them say a couple of things about what Esau's trying to do. It was saying that they want to land, a man on the moon with these rockets within 2 years, and also that they're trying to beat China back to the moon, when the truth of the matter is that the United States never landed a man on the moon. That was all theatrics, because they never went to the moon in the first place. Now, one of the ways we know that Esau was never able to go to the moon is because they are unable to bypass something known as the Van Allen belt, and that's a area of radiation. Got it here. Van Allen belt. The temperature of the Van Allen belt, which surrounds the Earth, which is what prevents Esau from going into outer space. This is the temperature of the Van Allen radiation belt can vary from thousands of degrees Kelvin to over 100 billion degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature depends on the energy and speed of the charged particles in the belt. Now, it says the Van Allen belt, 35,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The Van Allen belt is a zone of charged particles around the Earth. While the Van Allen belt can get up to 20,000 degrees Kelvin, which is like 335,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Here's see the questions. How did the astronauts? Let me read this one first. That's not what I want. How did the astronauts survive the temperature of the Van Allen belt? The answer is they didn't. It was all theatrics. That was, Hollywood in action when they had, Neil Armstrong stepping onto the moon, and they portrayed the moon as this dusty, you know, dusty type of surface in space, when that's not true at all, because the moon is actually a light source. You know, when you observe the moon, it is the lesser light which is spoken of in the book of Genesis. Let's get that. Hang on a minute. Come back to this in a moment. So the moon is actually a light source. So I don't know how Esau would have landed on that. This is Genesis. Let's see, where are we? Genesis 1 and verse 14 says, and the Elohim, the powers, said, let there be lights in the firmament to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for season. Signs, what was that? Signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. Here's the point, verse 16, Genesis 1:16. And Elohim made two great lights, the lesser light to rule the day. Sorry, the greater light. Let me read that again, I read it wrong. And the Elohim, or the powers, made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, which would be the sun, and the lesser light to rule the night. And they made the stars also. And the powers set them in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. So that the moon, it does give light, especially at night time. It's the lesser light, you know, the sun being the greater and the moon being the lesser. So when Esau portrays that they went to the moon, it's all theatrics, you know, Hollywood, green screen bullshit. It said, how did the astronauts survive the temperature of the Van Allen belt? How did astronauts survive the belt? Apollo missions going to and from the moon were able to avoid the thickest parts of the belt, which is bullshit. Thus, they minimized the exposure to radiation in the belts. The metal command module also shielded them. Again, that's bullshit. It's bullshit. I want to get another point, because the Most High has set Esau up. This is Job 14 and verse 5. Esau can only go but so far. This is Job 14 and verse 5. It says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee, thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Because all this, you know, talk and shit, I mean, even Donald Trump was saying a month or so ago that they want to send, put men on Mars. That's not Esau's portion. You know, that's not Esau's portion. Esau's portion was just to have rulership over the earth for an appointed period of time, which is, that appointed period of time is almost fulfilled. And then he's going to be done away with. The whole thing about space exploration and other planets, that's the blessing for us Israelites. Let me get this quick precept here. This is John 14 and start from verse 1. John 14 starting at verse 1 says, Let not your heart be troubled, ye believe in the Most High, believe in me also. This is Yahushua speaking. And it says, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you, I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, ye may be also. There you go. There's another one, hang on. Because This is Isaiah 40 and verse 22. It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. So we know one thing that Esau does get right is that the universe is constantly expanding. And we read in the previous scripture that Yahushua has gone to prepare a place for us. So that's part of the reason why the universe is expanding. And when it said, in my Father's house are many mansions, that's talking about planets. So there's going to be many planets that the Israelites are going to be able to explore and have dominion of. That's our blessing. That's our reward. That's not Esau's portion, although he desires it, which is why he's trying to, go against the Most High and transgress the bounds which have been appointed to him. Now, in this scripture, Isaiah 40 and 22, it talks about the heavens being stretched out as a curtain and being spread out as a tent to dwell in. So that basically confirms what I said before, that us Israelites are going to have the ability to travel into outer space and to inhabit other planets. That's going to be our blessing. So, Esau's trying to do what he can't do, and the Most High is, has him in derision. These rockets that he's sending up into space, they ain't really getting too far, and there's certainly not going to be any human-operated rockets that are going to go to the moon or go to Mars. Although Esau talks a good game, that's not in his ability. That's out of his realm of possibilities. That's not his portion. So yeah, man, I just saw this rocket blow up and I'm like, yeah. Esau's trying to, conquer the heavens, get up into space, but it simply ain't happening. So Lord willing, that was a quick edifying lesson. So with that, I'm going to give all praises once again. All praises, honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bah Hashem Yahweh Shai, Bah Hashem Hakodash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. And shalom to the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. And I'll catch you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Shalom for now.